let us continue our discussion on a mode of extinguishing an obligation through payment or performance. So let's proceed with 1245. So under 1245, it tells us actually a concept of dasyon in pago or dasyon in payment. Under 1245, the exact provisions tells us that in dasyon in payment, whereby property is alienated or transferred, ang sinasabing alienated, to the creditor in satisfaction of a debt in money, shall be governed by the law of sale. So here, nagkakaroon po tayo sa dasyon in payment, nagkakaroon po tayo ng conveyance or transfer ng ownership ng isang bagay na ginagawa pong payment or equivalent as payment dun po sa atin pong obligation. For this other names for dasyon in payment, sometimes you came across dasyo in solutum, adjudicasyon in pago, o di kaya man ay payment in kind. So basically, the alienation ng property in favor of the creditor is for the purpose of satisfying ng monetary obligation. So in short, ang obligation is in money but the payment is in property. So ang sabi din dyan, according to 1245, parang ang nagiging situation is that the creditor is really buying the property of the debtor kasi it would be governed by the dasyon would be governed by contract of sales. Kasi nga naman, nagkaroon po ng payment that would be charged against the obligation of the debtor to the creditor. So, but still there is a difference between dasyon and sales. Ano ba yung example dito? Let's say for example, base sa ating pong libro, meron po diyang nakalagay na assuming si X ay may utang kay Y na nag-a-amount po sa 1,000,000. Aring si X walang sapat na pera para pambayad, pero meron siyang Rolex watch. So, alam niyo naman ang Rolex, yan ay nagkakahalaga equivalent with a car. So, by that, in satisfaction of the obligation, ang ginagawa po ni X ay ipinambayad niya yung kanyang Rolex. So, in case man na yung Rolex ay 800,000 lang dahil ay luma po na model, then still, yung in case the Rolex nga is lesser value than the amount of the utang, the satisfaction of the indebtedness lang is up to the value of that watch only. So, pagpapalagay, the value is only 800,000. So, the debt there is not yet satisfied unless there is an agreement between the parties na that is enough. And going back to the difference between a dasyon as against with a sale, there's still a slight pa din na difference. When you say, sa dasyon kasi, meron tayong pre-existing na credit, diba? May pre-existing tayo na obligation, Whereas sa sale, wala, original contract yan, no pre-existing na credit. Sa dasyon naman, nagkaroon po tayo ng extinguishment ng obligation. Well, in a sale, it gives rise to an obligation, diba? So, sa dasyon din, wala din freedom masyado yung sa pagdedetermine ng price. Unlike in sale, na there is a greater freedom when it comes to the determination of the price. In dasyon naman, well, there is the giving of the object in lieu of the obligation in money that would basically totally or partially extinguish the obligation. Sa sale, yung payment ng price as a rule will extinguish totally the obligation of the buyer. So yun po yung under dasyon in pago versus a sale. And then, let's go for 1248, still under payment. According to the provisions of 1248, that unless there is an express stipulation to the effect, the creditor cannot be compelled partially to receive the prestations in which the obligation consists. Neither may the debtor be required to make partial payments. However, when the debt is in part liquidated and in part unliquidated, the creditor may demand and the debtor may effect the payment of the former without waiting for the liquidation of the latter. Anong ibig sabihin ba ng liquidator and liquidated? Yung may computed value, or may definite na amount, So, here, the law provides for the rule ng payment may extinguish the obligation if there is a complete performance ng obligation. So, the creditor may accept but cannot be forced to accept kapag partial performance lang yan. So, if the creditor, for example, wants to have 100 sacks of rice based sa agreement, kapag po ang delivery ay less than 100, then the creditor could not be compelled to accept the partial performance basing on 1248 na provision. So, we have discussed this one already na there would be instances, however, that partial payment is allowed. Ano pa yung mga instances na ang partial payment po ay allowed? Well, the first one is kapag meron po tayong express na stipulation na allowed po ang partial payment. Tapos po, if in cases then, if the obligation, well, the debt is in part liquidated and definitely and determined or computed, and in part is unliquidated. So, yun po yung mga sinasabing definite yung amount ng partly yung isang debt and then partly the other is not. And then third, we have here when the different prestations in which the obligations consist are subject to different terms or conditions which affect some of them. So here, parang kumbaga yung sa ating mga naging previous na discussion na kung saan ang obligation is subject to different terms or periods or conditions na capable naman, na hindi mo naman kailangan i-perform at the same time or completely at the same period. Hindi pare-pareho yung pagko-comply at pag-perform. So, other could be done by parts. Yun yung ibig sabihin na when the partial performance is allowed. So, here, as an example, another one, kung meron pong agreement na po pwedeng partial lang, then it could be allowed. And then, in number 2, based sa example, kapag ang debt daw ay partly liquidated and unliquidated. So, here, kapag daw here, if the debtor owes 10,000 plus a share in the partnership, pero hindi pa naman determine yung share, hindi pa yun nako-compute kung how much yung share na yun, well, he could demand for the payment of 10,000 which is already known. Diba? And then thirdly is that kung naman hindi po pare-pareho yung terms ng obligation. Other one is due today and the other one would be due tomorrow. Well, he could comply the one that's due, complied partially the one as well na kung kailan po siya due. So, let's go now for 1251. Under 1251, another important provision under payment is that it says that payment shall be made in the place designated in the obligation, if there being no express stipulation, and if the undertaking, and so there being no express stipulation, and if the undertaking is to deliver a determinate thing, the payment shall be made wherever the thing might be at the moment of the obligation was constituted. So, in any other case, the place of payment shall be the domicile of the debtor. And then, if the debtor changes his domicile in bad faith or after he has incurred in delay, the additional expenses shall be borne by the debtor who was in bad faith, who has incurred delay of paying or complying with his obligation. So, these provisions are without prejudice to the venue under the rules of court. So, basically, where should be the obligation be paid? Place where the obligation shall be paid. If there is a stipulation or if there is an agreement, well, it should be paid based on the agreement. But if there is no stipulation nga naman daw, well, if it is to deliver for a specific or a determinate thing, saan po ba? The payment shall be made kapag determinate thing base sa provisions ng 1248 made at the place where the thing was at the time of the perfection. Kapag indeterminate naman, well, the delivery of the payment must be made at the domicile of the debtor. Ano? So, let's proceed. Under payment as well is the application of payments. Ano yung konsepto ng application of payments under 1252? Ang application ng payment, ito yung pagde-designate ng mga debt, designation of the debt of which should be applied a payment made by a debtor who owes several debts in favor of the same creditor. Itong si debtor ay napakadaming utang daw na napakadaming utang, meron siyang maraming utang with the same creditor. So, the basic question is that where would be to which debt we would apply payment kapag nga naman daw hindi sapat yung payment ni debtor to extinguish all the obligations. So the purpose is to know which debt out of the two or more owing to the creditor na debt should be extinguished first. Alin yung tatapusin muna na obligation? Ano? So, therefore pala, under this provision in 1252, there are certain requirements as to the application of payments. Ano? Firstly, there must be two or more debts. There must be two or more debts, and then that debt is of the same kind, and then there must be one debtor and one creditor, and then the debts must be due, and then yung ipinambayad na utang, hindi siya sufficient to cover all the debts. Ano? Oo nga naman, napakadami niyang utang to one creditor, and then yung kanyang pambayad ay hindi sapat para ma-cover yung lahat ng mga utang. What if lahat nga ng utang na iyan ay due? Alin ba dapat unang i-apply yung payment? So, here under 1252, he who has various debts of the same kind in favor of one and the same creditor may declare at the time of making the payment to which of them the same must be applied, unless the parties so stipulate, or when the application of payment is made by the party for whose benefit the term has been constituted, application shall not be made as to debts which are not yet due. If the debtor accepts from the creditor a receipt in which an application of the payment is made, the former cannot complain of the same, unless there is a cause for invalidating the contract. So here, ito yung special mode of payment, diba? So, paano ba yung application or imputation of payment? Ano? Saan po natin unang i-apply? Well, the question now is that the rule is that when application of payment is applicable, dapat po ang obligations nga ay due. But there would be application of payment even though the obligations are not yet due. According to this provision, when the parties so stipulate, if nakalagay naman sa contract that still applicable po ang application of payment despite that the obligation is not yet due, or when the application is made by the party for whose benefit the period or term is constituted. So, yun yung ibig sabihin dito sa second sentence ng 1252. When application of payment is applicable even if the obligation is not yet due. So, when the parties stipulate or when the application is made by the party for whose benefit the period or term is constituted. Now, the question is, who has the right to choose in application ng payments? Well, the right to choose belongs basically to the debtor. So, nasa kanya po ang right to choose ang law unless otherwise, of course, agreed upon. If the application is made properly, well, and the creditor refuses to accept, well, he would be considered na naman he will be the ones considered in default. How should the application be made? Well, under this provision as well, it is the debtor who makes the designation. Siya yung pipili or siya yung mag-a-assign. Well, if the debtor fails to designate under this provision, the creditor will choose. And this must be stated in the receipt. Nandito nga, And then, if in the application of payment, well, it is stated in the receipt, the debtor could no longer complain of the same, not unless lang there is a cause for invalidating such. Let's go now for payment made by session. Well, before we gonna go with that, what if pala the preceding provision or the previous na provision ay cannot be is not applicable. When payment it cannot be applied in accordance with the previous rules. Well, the application of payment be made firstly under 1254. Number 1 is that we would apply it to the most onerous or yung pinaka-burdensome sa part na ng debtor, yung nature ng isang obligation. Pero kapag siya ay pareho namang burdensome, o di kaya naman ay pareho naman yung nature, i-apply mo lang proportionately. Ano ba yung mga utang na burdensome or more onerous sa part ng debtor? Well, yung mga utang yung nagkakaroon ng interests na may interest bearing, yung may mga penalty, yung may mga collateral or mortgage or may naka-pledge, yun ay mako-consider natin na mga utang. At the same time, yung mga utang na much older at nagkaroon siya ng compounding or may running na accounts. So, dapat yun yung mga inuuna mo, mas burdensome yun. Kapag yung 1253 na provision in 1252 ay hindi po applicable. Let's go now for still under payment, which is payment by session. Ano ba ito under 1255? Under 1255, it tells us that the debtor may cede or assign his property to his creditors in payment of his debts. This cession, unless there is a stipulation to the contrary, shall only release the debtor from the responsibility for the net proceeds of the thing assigned. The agreement which, on the effect of the cession and made between the debtor and his creditor, shall be governed by special laws. So, ano bang nangyayari dito sa payment by session? So, ano ba ang naging proseso dito? Si debtor, dito daw sa payment by session, ay si debtor, tinatransfer niya lahat ng kanyang mga property in favor dun sa creditor. Na kung saan si creditor ay kanya yung isi-sell at saka i-apply dun sa credit. So, yung magiging proceeds nun or kita nun ay ipapambayad ni creditor dun sa utang ni debtor. So, hope by this time, you could already see the difference between dasyon and session. Kanina sa dasyon, parang may iilan lang property na ibabayad niya dun sa kanyang obligation. Dito talaga, si debtor, all of his properties are being transferred, for the satisfaction of the obligation. Bakit all? Bakit all? Well, because as a requirement of session in payment or assignment, ang nangyayari kasi dito, there is more than one debt. And then, there are more than one creditor. Madami silang creditor. And then, it's either could be completely or partially insolvent na si debtor. Wala na siyang pambayad. And then he is abandoning all his properties na, which is not really included in which are not subject to an execution. Kanya pong pinaubaya na kay creditor, at si creditor na ang siyang magsisell nito para sa ang proceeds naman noon ay pang-satisfy sa kanyang mga obligation. So, nakikita ninyo, dito all of the properties ni debtor which are exempted from execution ay kino-convey niya kay kina-creditors na madami. Well, which is different from Dachshund. And then, if we have really to differentiate it with Dachshund, sa Dachshund, it does not really affect all the properties. Sa Dachshund, hindi naman kailangan na madami ang creditor. Dito sa session, more than one creditor. Sa Dachshund, it could take place even though during solvency of the debtor, And then, sa session, it requires full or partial talaga na insolvent si debtor. Wala na talaga siyang pambayad. Sa Dachshund, nagkaroon ng transfer ng ownership ng property ni debtor upon delivery. Kasi ginawa niyang pampalit. Kasi, di ba, I've mentioned a while ago na the obligation is money, the payment is in kind. Yun yung Dachshund impago, Pero dito sa payment by session, hindi po tayo nagkakaroon ng transfer ng ownership. Inassign lang muna natin yung property dun kay creditor at hinayaan natin siya yung mag-sell ng mga property for the satisfaction of the obligation, Basically, sa Dachshund, nagkakaroon tayo ng novation. Ano ba yung novation? As what I've discussed on the previous part, nagkakaroon tayo ng panibagong obligation. Well, in session, hindi tayo nagkakaroon ng act ng novation. Take note of that, So, ano ba yung magiging effect kapag nagkakaroon po tayo ng assignment or session? Well, here, titingnan natin, hindi po naging owners ng property. Etong si mga creditors ay signees lang sila with the power to sell the properties of the insolvent na debtor. And then, here, the debtor as well, under this provision, yung debtor ay marirelease lang sa obligation kapag naibenta yung property. And then, yung extent lang din, yung net proceeds lang din ng sale ng mga property, siya lang din yung portion na masasatisfy if it is not sufficient, diba? So, here, the creditors under payment by session will collect the credits in order of preference as agreed upon or under what is being established by law. So, kung sino sa kanila yung preferred creditor, mas maunang mababayadan base sa 1255. Hope that is very clear with you, which is payment by session. So, here, Dachshund and session, which is clearly being illustrated here as a difference. And let's now go on tender of payment and consignation. Ano ba tong tender of payment or consignation? Under 1256, if the creditor to whom tender of payment has been made refuses without just cause to accept it, the debtor shall be released from responsibility by consignation of the thing or sum due. Consignation alone shall produce the same effect in the following cases: when the creditor is absent or unknown, or does not appear at the place of the payment, or when he is incapacitated to receive the payment at the time it is due, or when with just cause he refuses to give a receipt, or when two or more persons claim the same right to collect, or when the title of the obligation has been lost. So, ano yung consignation? Ito yung act na idinideposit mo yung thing or yung amount due, diba? With the proper court when the creditor does not desire really, or he cannot really receive it after complying with the formalities as being given by law. Well, idinideposit mo sa korte yung amount due or yung obligation na due, which is different from the tender of payment, Oh, and then dapat as a requirement, ang tender of payment is the act naman on the part of the debtor offering the creditor the thing or amount due. Ano ba yung tender of payment? Ano ba sa vernacular natin? Hiwalay pa yung tender of payment sa consignation, kasi yung tender of payment parang yung akto ng pag-aabot mo ng bayad, 'di ba? Whereas yung consignation ay yung act ng pagde-deposit mo sa court. So there should be a tender of payment first before you could make a deposit of the amount due to the proper court. It's very important, prerequisite 'yan. So ano ba yung requirement for a valid tender of payment? There should be it should be made in legal tender or in a lawful currency or accepted na currency. So it must include, of course, the interest due, diba? It must be unconditional, and it must be that the obligation is already due. Yun yung sinasabi nating valid na tender ng payment. Kailan mo din ba masasabi na valid po yung ating consignation? Well, magiging valid lang po ang isang consignation if there would be the existence of a valid na debt na due. And then, nagkaroon ka ng tender muna ng payment, nag-offer ka ng payment, pero ni-refuse ka ni debtor, well, without naman justifiable cause, ni-refuse ka ni creditor, to accept it without justifiable cause, And then, there should be previous notice of consignation to persons interested in the fulfillment of the obligation. Yun po yung ating requirement for consignation. I think, what would be the effect if you have tendered payment but you did not make a deposit or walang consignation na nangyayari? So, hindi natin mako-consider na nagkakaroon po ng extinguishment ng obligation. So, there must be, dapat po, under this provision, there must be an offer to pay first. Tapos, if refused without reason, then you could consign or deposit the object in court before sasabi natin na the obligation is extinguished. And then, it is also required that there should be notice ng consignation. It should be sent to all those persons interested in the fulfillment of the obligation, such as the creditor, the co-debtors, the sureties, or guarantors, if in cases man na madami magkiklaim, madami yung interesadong tao na may kinalaman po sa obligation. So here, let's say for example, under this provision, etong si debtor may utang kay creditor na 10,000. Tapos, nung mag-offer na at maturity date, inabot ito ni debtor kay creditor. Pero so walang sapat na kadahilanan, ayaw niyang tanggapin yung bayad. Masasabi ba natin na ang obligation ay extinguished na, given na despite my offer, the creditor did not accept the payment? Well, no, because what? No, the obligation is not extinguished. To extinguish the obligation, you must send notice before the consignation to make the actual na consignation. Then send again the notice of the actual consignation after the consignation or deposit is being made. Otherwise, yung tender of payment at the same time, the consignation would not be valid. So, requirement natin yun. Karoon tayo ng notification when it comes to the before the consignation and the actual consignation and after the consignation. And then consignation is only consignation alone without the tender of payment will not extinguish the obligation, ano. So, dapat may proper tender of payment na muna bago po magkakaroon ng consignation. And consignation is only proper under the provisions of 1256.